This is Gerard Wellbrock. Thanks for tuning in to Tiger Talk as we talk football with head coach Chris Brown. Stay with us. We'll review the Week 1 victory over Missouri Southern and take a look ahead at the matchup with number 16 Central Missouri. It all comes your way next right here on Tiger Talk.
Around here, we believe in local values like hard work, family time, or a fair price on reliable internet from a local company. That's why Eagle Communications delivers great local values, like a range of internet options to fit your family's needs. Fast and consistent enough to power everyone's devices at once. All at reasonable prices we're proud to offer our friends and neighbors. Ready for better internet? Give us a call or visit eaglecom.net and discover our local values today.
Hello again and welcome in to another edition of Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you for the next 30 or so minutes as we talk Fort Hays State football. Fort Hays State coming off a big victory, 22-10 over Missouri Southern in their season opener in the Eagle Communications Kickoff Classic last Thursday night. They're now on the road this Thursday, a big one in week number 2 at number 16 Central Missouri. So it should be a lot of fun in Warrensburg on Thursday, and we'll take a preview look at that a little bit later on in the program. Tiger Talk, of course, presented by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers and by the fine folks at Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro. Stay with us. Head coach Chris Brown will join us right after the break, right here on Tiger Talk.
We get it. You work hard and play hard. Internet should be the last thing slowing you down. Eagle Communications gives you the speed you need so you can play hard and save cash. For a limited time, get 30 meg for $30 or 50 meg for $50 so you could work, play, and save. Call us at 877-61-EAGLE today.
And welcome back to Tiger Talk, presented by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. You can experience delicious cook-to-order food and rich and creamy frozen custard churned fresh throughout the day at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. They're on North Vine and Hayes. Freddy's, it's the taste that brings you back. Fort Hays State, 22-10 winners in their season opener last Thursday night over Missouri Southern. And we're joined by head coach Chris Brown. And nice start to the season. I guess anytime you get a W in week number 1, it's a good start.
It is. You know, those wins are hard to come by. And I'm proud of our guys for winning the ball game. I didn't think we played the cleanest game that we should have, and some penalties cost us. A lot of long drives on their part, but we kept them out of the end zone. But, got the first win. That's always hard to get, and, you can't go undefeated unless you get the first win. So that's what we tell our guys. And, I'm proud of them, but we just got to clean things up.
In some ways, it was a typical week 1 win. The offense had its moments, at the time struggled. Defense played pretty solid, gave up some yardage, as you said, kind of bend but not break, had a few more penalties than we're accustomed to seeing Fort Hays State teams. And I guess in week number 1, sometimes that is what happens.
It is, some of the rule changes as well, with the pick routes and things like that. And, holding penalties. I mean, some of those are, there but not there. Then a couple of them were, just stupid little things that we shouldn't be doing. Our guys are better at that. We're more disciplined than that. We just didn't play very disciplined, and those penalties hurt us in crucial situations. And we had our offense had a long field all night, all day long, to try to go score. So those big plays are big. Were big for us. Or early, when Shaq broke one, and then Malik broke one. But we just got to give ourselves better field position and eliminate penalties.
Got a new quarterback, Jacob Mazzara, making his start, the redshirt sophomore. I guess kind of curious to get your thoughts. It appeared that he handled himself very well for his first start. I know he had to have some butterflies.
I thought he did very, very well. He didn't really make any big mistakes. He didn't have any turnovers, and I thought he played a very, very good game. Had some couple high throws, couple off-target throws, but nothing that really hurt us, in any phase of the game. And he had one bad throw, went through the linebacker's hands, but the linebacker's probably like, I've never caught a ball like this in my entire life. So, I thought he did a great job. I'm proud of the kid. He's only going to get better as the year goes on.
Had a couple of receivers at the same boat, had some drop catches or passes, and he zips that ball in there. Kind of an adjustment for them right now, knowing that ball's going to get there quicker and it's going to be hot.
It is. He's got a little more juice in the game than he does in practice. He throws a pretty hard ball in practice, but when he's in game mode, that thing's really coming. He's throwing like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or something. So those guys got to get their hands ready, have soft hands, catch the ball and cradle it. But that's things they work on every day in practice.
You mentioned Malik Thomas. Boy, good to see that. He got your first touchdown, the 61-yard run, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. But coming off the devastating knee injury a year ago, early in the game, first game of his career, good to see him come back, ran for 115 yards.
I thought he did a great job. Had confidence in his knee. He always worried about that first game. Is he going to have confidence or not? But he felt great. He had a good camp as well, and made some great cuts. And he's just a little different runner than Shaq is. He's a little more patient, lets things develop, sees things a little bit better. Shaq's just going to blow and go, but Malik, he holds in there, lets those linemen do their job, and then once he sees that hole, he can spurt it. And the thing I was glad to see is he still has the speed. You worry about those knee injuries if they lose some speed or not, but he still got it.
Obviously, Kenneth Iheme played a little bit in there as well. You've got a lot of running backs. Charles Tigner kind of moved to wide receiver right now because of all that depth. Were you happy with how the rotation and the flow went amongst all of your running backs?
It was. They're probably not happy because they didn't get enough touches, but that's how all running backs are. They want the ball in their hands all the time, which is good. But the thing about those guys in practice, they're always encouraging one another. They're competing against one another. They want each other to do very, very well. And it's good to see that group. They're a very close group. And, move to Tigner to wide receiver, I think really has helped him out to get him on the field, because we want to get our best athletes on the field. And heck, we can do some of that stuff with Iheme as well, of the same job that Tigner's doing right now.
Well, the Tigers get the win, 22-10 over Missouri Southern. We'll talk a little bit more detailed about the victory last Thursday night when we return. Tiger Talk presented by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers and by Mocha's. And we're back right after this.
The year 1948, we said goodbye to the Babe. Truman upset Dewey, and KAYS AM signs on the air. Flash forward to 2016. This year we said goodbye to Prince. We find out if it will be Hillary or Trump, and KAYS FM signs on the air. 1400 AM KAYS, now also on 94.3 FM. It's Hayes' greatest hits. KAYS, sounding great since 1948.
Back on Tiger Talk, presented by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers on North Vine and Hayes, and by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, where you can start your day off with a hot coffee and breakfast from Mocha's, or try one of their signature sandwiches, paninis, salads, or wraps for lunch, along with your favorite drinks, plus cheesecake, scones, and more. Something for every meal at Mocha's, 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes. Gerard Wellbrock, head football coach Chris Brown with you here on Tiger Talk. Tigers beat Missouri Southern 22-10 in the Eagle Communications Kickoff Classic last Thursday night at Lewis Field. And Missouri Southern got the ball to start that game, and very impressive drive, 15 plays, 74 yards. They get it all the way inside the 10, botch the snap on the field goal attempt. They run it down to the 1. I think it was Cdo made the touchdown-saving tackle. Defense kind of bend but not break. That's been a philosophy, and very, very present in that first drive.
Yeah, it was. Our whole thing is we don't want to give up a big play. Make them earn everything down the field, and they did on that drive. They did a very good job. It's something that we really hadn't seen out of them. Last year they did a lot of screens and things like that. Same scenario, they ran some screens, but they had a run pass out of it. And, I was really reading that linebacker, putting him in a bad position. And, I'd hate to be that linebacker because you're always wrong. Yeah. You jump out, we're going to give it. If you sit, we're going to throw it. So, they put them in a tough spot, but I think as the game went on, we settled down and made some adjustments defensively to help us out.
Yeah, TJ Fleeton, the veteran quarterback, we saw him a year ago and was very impressed with him, and he's only gotten better. And that was very difficult because he would just kind of hold the ball, see what the linebacker did. If you bit, he'd pull it out and throw it, and it makes it very difficult to stop.
It was. He held in there for, it seemed like eternity, like it was 5-10 seconds he was holding that ball in there to finally get his read and make that linebacker make a decision. And, he did a great job. And the guy, he's got a very good arm. He's very elusive as well and makes guys miss. And, Southern's going to win some ball games this year. They're a very, very good football team.
Well, you get the stop on that first drive, then your offense answers 99 yards. You got a big run from Shaquille Cooper, and then obviously the 61-yard touchdown run from Malik Thomas to give you the early lead.
It was. It was a huge, that's huge, change of field position for us as well. And, our O-line did a good job of blocking up the things they needed to block up. Hal Shack steps out of bounds, and he probably should go 99 yards, but he steps out of bounds. I guess he wanted Malik to score his first touchdown. So,
nice of it.
Yeah, it worked out for him. So, but no, it was a good job. They stood up their blocks, and they read their blocks well, did a good job, and then, that was huge for us because, you know, if we don't get out of that area, they got another short field, and heck, it's points on the board for them.
Yeah, the 61-yard run from Thomas, obviously what a lot of folks remember, but that 20-plus one by Shaquille gave you some breathing room because you're backed up at your own one. There's not any room for mistakes.
There's nothing there. You know, you hate putting out your own end zone. I think we did it 3 times, and you know, with Shaq busting that 20-yard run, really got us some breathing room, got us out, you know, of danger in that area. And if we needed to punt, at least we were able to change field position if we needed to. But you know, they did things they needed to do and got points on the board early.
Unfortunately, the offense would stall after that. 5 straight possessions you had to punt. I think 3 of them were 3 and outs. Now, in a couple passes, we talked about Jacob putting a little mustard on the ball a little bit. It gets there quickly. A couple of drop passes that, who knows, you maybe get a first down or 2 and extend the drives, but offense kind of stalled after the big run.
Yeah, they did, and you know, a lot of it's, you know, the defense is on the field for 14 plays. Offensively, you kind of cool down. You're trying to get in a rhythm, and you go 3 and out, then the defense is back out there for another 10 to 12 plays, and then you're back out there for 3. So it's hard to get those guys in a rhythm, and you'll get Jake in a rhythm, and our receivers, you know, they do catch a few of those balls. It's probably first downs. We're still moving the chains, and you know, we probably go score again. But you know, a few penalties too cost us in those situations as well. So little things we got to eliminate: catch the ball, eliminate penalties. We'll continue to make drives and score touchdowns.
Good thing was the defense was continuing to play well, even though the offense was sputtering a little bit, still trying to find themselves early. The defense didn't give anything up.
It is, and you know, offense is all about timing. The receivers and the quarterback got to be on the same page and have the same timing. And in our O-line with different blitzes coming at them, being able to pick up the blitzes and understand everything. Even in the blocking schemes for the run game, and everything's on time, and if it's not timed up right, you know, good things don't happen for you. So, you know, as this year goes on, the timing will get better, and even this week in practice, us all get a lot better.
And the big play probably of the first half, the tip pass, and then Raheem Dumas scampers 25 yards at the interception return for a touchdown. Gave you a little bit more breathing room going into the locker room.
Yeah, that's a huge play for us right there, and we needed that, you know, that right there, and it was huge for us. And you know, Wyatt Park did a good job of getting his hands up. Dumas did a good job of seeing it and catching it, and at least he scored this time. You know, against Northeastern last year, he didn't get in the end zone, but he was full go, full head, nobody there to touch him, and you know, got points on the board.
He probably remembers all the razzing he got after not scoring against Northeastern. That time he made sure he got in.
Yeah, he does. He always tells me, "Hey, if I score, I'm going to boot the ball over the brick wall." And I'm like, let's see what the situation is. So he didn't do it in that situation, which I'm glad he didn't. So, but proud of that kid. You know, doing the things he does. You know, doing the things he does. You know, of course, every day in practice. You know, in the games, he's just a great leader and a great motivator as well.
Tigers up 13-3. Southern did drive but missed a 44-yard field goal at the end of the first half. Fort Hays State had a 10-point lead going into the halftime locker room. We'll talk about the second half when we return. Tiger Talk presented by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers and by Mocha's. We're back with more right after this.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Back on Tiger Talk, presented by Mocha's and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where they have their delicious cook-to-order double steak burger and crispy shoestring fries seasoned with Freddy's famous seasoning. You can finish off with their signature turtle sundae made from their fresh, creamy frozen custard. They're on North Vine and Hayes. Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. It's the taste that brings you back. Tigers with a 13-3 halftime lead over Missouri Southern last Thursday at Lewis Field in the season opener. And you got the ball to start the third quarter. Very impressive by the offense. Came out 10 plays, 63 yards, including that a big 26-yard run by Shaquille Cooper. A couple of big passes to Tyler Bacon to get you down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, it is, but there's still a situation we got to finish that drive and we got to score, you know, a touchdown in that situation. Good job of getting it down there, doing the things that we need to do, making some big plays on, you know, as we're running back, as wide receivers, and you know, Jake putting the ball where he needed to put it. Bacon, I mean, he had some nice, very nice catches there. And then Shaq doing what he does. You know, he probably should have scored on one of them, but again, he lost his footing because he's so quick with his feet. Sometimes he jukes himself out. But, we got to go score a touchdown there. If we score a touchdown there, who knows what happens with the rest of this game.
You mentioned Bacon. Boy, he had some great catches throughout the whole second half, even one in which they called targeting on Missouri Southern's defensive back and was ejected for the game. Knocked his helmet off, still held on to the ball. I mean, that's the prototypical possession receiver.
It is. He's a competitor. He wants to win every single battle. He's a heck of a blocker as well. He just does everything you want him to do in a receiver. Doesn't have the blazing speed, but he runs great routes, catches the ball very, very well. Tough after the catch. He's going to get some extra yards after each catch, and he's going to block his tail off for his running backs. And I'm proud of that kid. Just got to find a way to keep him from cramping, And if we can do that, he's going to be on the field a lot for us.
And you mentioned running good routes. I think that's sometimes lost for wide receivers. You've got blazing fast guys, but if they run poor routes, they're easier to defend. If you might not be quite as fast, but you run a good route, you can still get open.
Yeah, it is. He does a good job of stemming the defender up and getting himself, a two-way go on that defender as well, and it's really helped him out. He's really put the time and effort in these last few years to make himself a great wide receiver, and you can tell it's been working for him, and we're going to continue to go to him week in and week out.
Had to kick the field goal, 16-3, Tigers with the lead, but then Southern comes back 14 plays, 75 yards. They connect on a TD pass in the end zone, and all of a sudden they're right back in the football game after their next long possession.
It is, and that same pass play, they ran that same pass play against us the year before. We've worked it in practice 1,000 times. We've seen it 1,000 times. It's just knowing the situation and knowing what they're trying to do to you. To me, that touchdown never should have happened. We should have knocked it down, picked it, because we knew exactly what was coming.
16-10, but what you had to like out of your offense came right back after the defense gave up the touchdown, put together a 12-play drive, 66 yards. Again, you had to settle for a field goal, but answered and got points after they had scored.
Yeah, points are huge. We got to continue to get points. I feel very good about our kicker, Brandon Brown. I mean, he's got a tremendous leg. It's a strong leg. He's very accurate, even though he did miss the PAT on one kick. He just lost a little bit of focus, but that kid, we get inside the 30, we got a chance to get some points on the board. And but again, touchdowns are what we're wanting, but we'll take the points. Yeah, 3 for 3 on field goals all in the second half, and obviously all pressure kicks, and that was good to see. On that drive, Bilal Salat made a nice, 32-yard reception that kind of got you into their territory and a chance to score. It is, and that's finally something I wanted to see out of Bilal. The ball was in the air. He had to go up and fight for it and get it, and he did that. That's why we've been looking for him, since he's been here. But he's another kid that's going to fight, every single play. He's going to block hard every single play. But, that catch was a tremendous catch, and not many guys have caught that ball. Well, you get the field goal, get that lead back up to 9, and then the defense really stepped up. You forced Southern to punt on their next 3 possessions. One of those a 3 and out. Had a big sack in there from Cito Jr. as well. Good to see. Game still on the line. Got a little of a break after giving up the touchdown. The defense bowed their neck and played tough. Yeah, it was time. I think we finally figured out what they were doing, how we were going to defend it. Just kind of figured the things out that we need to figure out. And it's huge for us defensively. I expect our defense to keep points off the board, not allow big plays, and our goal is 17 points or less, but if we can keep it under 10, that's great. And Brown again came in, kicked a late field goal to push that lead to 12, and it's one of those positions you kind of sometimes take your kicker for granted, especially when you have a guy like Drew O'Brien for 4 years, and you knew what you were getting, you didn't worry about it. New punter, new kicker this year, kind of an unknown, and both seem to do pretty well. Yeah, they did pretty well. Brandon did an excellent job. Him and I talked before the game, and he knew exactly where he could kick from and make those kicks. So he told me, we're going with the win. I needed the ball on the 35-yard line. Into the win, I needed it on the 32. So, he's got a strong leg. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he feels comfortable. And heck, the other day in practice, with the win, he banged a 65-yarder. So he's got the leg to do it. And Flanagan, he's still learning. He's just a freshman trying to figure things out. And for his first day of punting, I think he did all right. We just got to work on into the wind, getting that punt down a little bit lower, not letting it hang up so high, so they get a good return. Tigers get the win, 22-10 over Missouri Southern. Now a big one on Thursday as they travel to Warrensburg to take on 16th-ranked Central Missouri. We'll take a preview look right after this.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
And welcome back. Our final segment here on Tiger Talk, presented by Mocha's and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. Delicious cook-to-order steak burgers, Chicago-style hot dogs, and piping hot shoestring fries, all a family favorite. You'll be greeted with hospitality, whether you're eating inside or driving through the drive-thru. And of course, don't forget about their great frozen treats, the frozen custard, all at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers on North Vine and Hayes. It's the taste that brings you back. Fort Hays State 1-0. Central Missouri picked second in the MIAA coaches preseason poll. Also 1-0 after a big win at Pittsburg State last Thursday. They're up to number 16 in the Division II national poll, and that's where the Tigers will be on Thursday night. And in years past, this has been either a late season or a season-ending game with usually a lot riding on the line. And now it's week number 2, but still a very big game on the schedule for you guys.
It is a huge game for us. You know, they're 16th in the country, and you know, we're trying to get into the polls as well. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we beat a team like Central Missouri. They're a very good football team. Quarterback's back. He's a tremendous player. He's actually 100% healthy. You know, last year he was a little bit banged up, so he's going to be scrambling, running. So we got to find a way to keep him contained in the pocket. Pretty good running back core. And their wide receivers have got very, very good speed and run very good routes. And defensively, they changed up defensively a little bit. Coach Bell from Mo West is now the defensive coordinator there at Central Missouri, and now they run the 3-4 defense instead of the 4-3 defense like they used to run. So, you know, there'll be some adjustments for us, some changes, but you know, if we go compete and play hard every single play and take care of the ball on offense and create some turnovers on defense, and you know, hopefully we can come back with a win.
Garrett Fugate, you mentioned him, their quarterback, threw 3 interceptions against you a year ago, but he set Central Missouri's rush record for quarterbacks last year. You contained him, but as you mentioned, he was a bit banged up going into that finale. He's healthy. He's as difficult, I would think, to defend as anyone because he does run the ball so well.
He does. He runs it very, very well, and he can throw it very, very well too. So he's kind of, I mean, it's you're losing on both ends of it. So we got to find a way just to keep him in the pocket, keep the ball out of his hands if he is running the ball. You know, make sure that he gives it, you know, to the running back as well. And then, you know, his passing game is tremendous. I mean, he's really got a strong arm. He reads things very, very well. And the thing I do notice about him, he likes to throw the ball deep. So we got to make sure that we keep everything in front and not give up a big play.
I had a couple big plays in that comeback win over Pittsburg State in their season opener. Jalen Zachary, one of their top wide receivers, very dangerous in the return game as well.
He is. You know, he got 2 passes against Pitt that were just phenomenal, big, long passes. I think one was for a touchdown as well. And, you know, his return game he's explosive. He sees things well, and he finds a hole and gets going. But, you know, I just feel like, you know, if we do the things that we're supposed to do and contain the quarterback, keep our eyes on receivers, keep everything in front, I think we'll be just fine.
With that 34 defense, but you mentioned their coordinator came from Missouri Western. A lot of similarities to what Western did?
Yeah, very, very similar. So we've watched Western quite a bit. You know, I don't think they quite have the personnel yet that they've had in the past, but I still think they're a very, very good football team, understanding trying to still figure out what they're doing, you know, defensively, but they're still solid. They still fly around. They still hit you in the mouth, and, you know, they make some good plays.
And you know they're going to be eyeing the Tigers. You've kind of had their number here the last 2 years and should have been the last 3.
Yeah, they're going to be after us, you know, and, you know, they want to get that win on us because it's early in the season, and, you know, those wins early are huge for you, and just like they are in the late. But, you know, we had their number the last couple of years, and I think they're ready for a little bit of revenge. So we just got to go in there and make sure that we take care of business and do our job.
I've always heard coaches say the biggest improvement a lot of times week 1 to week 2. What does your team have to do better in week number 2?
I think, you know, offensively, just make sure we're securing our blocks, you know, catching the balls, and then eliminating penalties, you know, and we got to sustain some drives, you know. We got to quit relying so much on the big play of Shaq or Malik or a big pass play. You know, we need to be able to sustain drives, get first downs, try to wear our defense out. So, you know, when it comes to the 3rd or 4th quarter, maybe those big plays come a little bit easier than what they do earlier in the game. And then defensively, you know, we just got to keep everything in front, tackle a lot better than we did in that first game. You know, we didn't tackle all through spring, didn't do a lot of tackling in fall camp, but, you know, that's something we got to do better is tackle better, get our hands on receivers, and create some more turnovers and get our ball back to the offense. So, you know, I think if we do those things, I think we'll be a pretty good football team.
Should be a lot of fun. Fort Hays State, Central Missouri, Thursday night in Warrensburg. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Best of luck. We'll see you in Warrensburg.
Thanks, Jordan.
That's head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, Fort Hays State, Central Missouri, 7 o'clock kick in Warrensburg. We'll be on there at 6 with the Auto World pregame show on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Hey, if you missed any part of tonight's program, you can always catch it online at hayespost.com, and the video replay on Eagle Cable's channel 14 and 614. It'll be at 10 and 7 o'clock this week. So if you missed any portion of it, catch it there, and of course online at hayespost.com. That's going to wrap up the program for tonight. It's brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, BTI, and Horizon Appliance and Electronics. And of course, brought to you by Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro. They're at 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes. And also brought to you by Freddy's Frozen Custard, 3505 North Vine in Hayes. It's the taste that brings you back. For Coach Chris Brown, this is Gerard Walbrock. So long, everyone.